Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. More talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasher here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhour.co. Check out the merchandise page. Check out the blog section as well. And of course, we got new merch dropping each and every day over there at manhour.co. It is Tuesday edition right here on the Man Hour. So that means it is time to overreact to some of the dumbest things that are happening in the NFL world as we speak. Once again, my computer's acting up all crazy. The chat's not working. Like, the pop-up chat's not working. I see you guys commenting, but I don't know what is going on at the end of the day. It's irritating as hell, but it is what it is at the end of the day. But before we get to your getaway, we have to welcome some people into the chat. We got my man Drew popping in the chat. What's up, Drew? Over here on IG Live tonight. If you guys are watching us on IG Live, be sure to come on over to youtube.com/manhour. That's where all the fun happens. That's where you can actually see the good part of the show. My man Alpha Rob jump in the chat as well. What is up, Alpha Rob? I hope you are having the grandest of the nights, my man, because you are a brother from another mother at the end of the day. Let's go, my man Alpha Rob. We also see Mama Buck in the house. What is up, Mama? See you in a couple days. Little man's birthday coming up. He big the 3. It ain't nothing but a 3 thing, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know at the end of the day. But it is about that time. Oh, I see Drew popping in the chat. What's up, Drew? What is up? What is up? What is up, man? But it is time to get into some things, and that is Mike's thoughts. And now, Mike's thoughts. As you guys know, I am a Lamar Jackson fan. I love my man Lamar Jackson. I think he is the greatest thing since sliced bread. All puns intended. No, I think he is the stupidest person on the earth right now. You want to know why? Because the Tennessee Titans have reportedly offered this man $255 million guaranteed money over the next 6 years. Of course, that doesn't sound too bad for Lamar Jackson, right? I mean, of course not. I mean, he is going to make that Benjamin's $266 million guaranteed money. That's like winning the lottery, right? But what has been Lamar Jackson's biggest knock in Baltimore? He cannot throw the ball. He cannot push the ball down the field. He cannot lead a team to the Super Bowl. He cannot win in January. And by going to the Tennessee Titans, what is going to change that? You don't have a number 1 receiver. They got rid of A.J. Brown. That got rid of Robert Woods. They are just doing mind-blowing things over there. Yes, you do have one of the best running backs in the NFL, arguably a top 5 in King Henry. Okay, awesome. You guys are going to have a killer running game, a 2-headed, let's run a speed option, less speed option right. Well, guess what? The NFL's going to stop that real freaking quick, my man. If Lamar Jackson ever wants to have an NFL career past the next 3 seasons, he is going to have to go to a team that is going to develop him, not catered around his needs, not catered to around what he is, quote, successful at, right? Get that crap out of here. If you want to be a successful NFL quarterback, Lamar Jackson, learn how to throw the damn ball. Learn how to complete the ball 10, 15 yards down the field consistently. Then come back and ask for that bag. I'm not mad about my man trying to get the bag. I ain't mad about it one bit. But man, Earn it first. When I say earn it, win a freaking game in January. Yes, I know he's won one, but win more than one. Promise the Super Bowl. Don't you remember your draft night? You said, in 5 years, I'm getting the Baltimore Ravens to the Super Bowl. Well, that hasn't happened. Live up to your word just one time. One time, live up to your word. And maybe, just maybe, you will finally get that bag. But Tennessee Titans, don't do it. Don't do it. You guys are the worst team in the South. Don't make it for a prolonged next 6 years. It is what it is. But those are my thoughts. Alrighty, guys. Alrighty. My man Arthur Brown jumping in the chat tonight. What's up, Arthur Brown? Over on YouTube and Facebook. Do we got multiple streams of Arthur Brown? I don't know, guys, but give me a hashtag MH Live in the chat if you're watching tonight. Give us a hashtag MH Live. That's Man Hour Live, guys. If you guys don't know what the live is, this is the live. This is live, and this is raw, and this is uncut sports talk. My man BC Combs decided to watch a little baseball last night. The last check, I think the USA was losing 3-1. I'm not 100% sure what the score is now. But if you guys are interested, you can play some line bets on the baseball game right now. So a smart bettor is a line bettor. And over at betstamp.app, guys, you learn how to play the lines. Now, I can go to Caesars and I can go to FanDuel. I can bet USA to win on both of them, but I'm going to win more money on Caesars for this particular game. How do I know that? Because I went over to betstamp.app, I downloaded the app, and I learned how to line shop. So, guys, for right now, with this being said, you can head over to www.betstamp.app/groups. You can download all the sports books that you do not have. Use promo code MANHOUR, and BetStamp will give you the minimum deposit of each one to bet money right now. So, guys, head over there right now. Use promo code MANHOUR and get yourself some dollar bills, y'all, and pick USA to win this game because, by golly, they better win it. Arthur says somebody hacked my account. This isn't a new account. Man, guys, what is up with people hacking freaking accounts? Like, isn't that like the most childish thing to do? Hey, I'm going to hack a Facebook account and I'm going to get all your friends to comment on my stuff. You know what else irritates me about freaking Facebook? Are these Cash App schemes. Hey, there's a glitch in Cash App. You can do this and win $10,000. And it's always, I have this guy on my Facebook. I don't know why I haven't deleted him yet, but every day he has a picture of some big black girl showing her boobs or getting banged or whatever. And then you, of course, me being a man, like, oh, I want to see some boobies, right? And you click on it like, oh, it's Cash App shit. I'm like, I should know. It is this freaking guy. It's this freaking guy, right? But it is what it is. But guys, this is Overreaction Tuesday. I got 3 things that I'm going to overreact or underreact to. But first things first, we have to get to One Pride 40's comment here. Why is my comment thing not working? That is irritating as hell. Let me do something here real quick. Let me do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then bada bang, bada boom, bada bang, bada boom, bada bang, bada boom. Copy link. There we go. I want to copy that link. So, guys, give me a second. I'm going to go black here for. All right, guys, I apologize. I should have. Whatever. One Pride 40 says the Detroit Lions are going to be scary. When he says scary, One Pride 40, are you talking about division winning scary? Are you talking about conference championship scary? Are we talking about Super Bowl scary, One Pride 40? I'm asking for a friend at this point because, I don't know what's going on there. But with that being said, I do concur. I think that the Detroit Lions are going to be very, very scary. I think the Detroit Lions are going to win the conference championship. I think the Detroit Lions are going to win themselves a wild card game. And then I think the Detroit Lions will upset the number 1 seed in the San Francisco 49ers and ultimately end up losing in the conference championship. I think the Detroit Lions are a very, very good team. I do agree with you, 1.40, 100%. I agree with you to probably spot on. Are they a Super Bowl team? No, they're not a Super Bowl team quite yet, unless Jared Goff continues what he is doing. The signing, you are right here. The signing of Gardner Johnson, right? That is huge. I was kind of hoping they were going to sign Slade Jr. back as well, but obviously that didn't work out too well. But Gardner Jones is just as good, if not better. I mean, he is young, he's durable. 1 year, what was it? 1 year, $8 million deal. Guys, the Detroit Lions are making some moves, and they're making some moves fast. Plus, they still got, what is it, number 5 overall pick or number 6 overall pick from the Rams. So they're doing very good things there, guys. They're doing super good things. So yes, 1.40. I agree with you 100%. They're going to be dangerous this year. Drew, I got to jump back up to your chat here. He says Lamar Jackson has taken 1,000 hits for the Ravens, all to the tune of $25 million. They haven't shown any good faith with him. Why should I have any allegiance to them after what they have treated him? Okay. Let me wet the whistle on this one, Drew. I did a little bit too much shouting pre-show here. Rocking out some Rage Against Machine. If you guys do not like Rage Against Machine, you are missing out on life here. Excuse me. But Drew says Lamar Jackson has taken 1,000+ hits, all for the Ravens for a tune of $25 million. You are correct. You are correct on that, Drew, 100%. However, how many of that is on Lamar Jackson because he can't read the ball, or because he can't read routes, because he can't read defenses, because he gets panicky in the pocket and he wants to roll before he has to? How many of those are those on Lamar Jackson? I would say at least half. Now, let's look at the same thing. Let's look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow tore his ACL and MCL for the tune of $20 million, right? Granted, now he is in line to, get a pretty big deal, not this year, but next year, right? Because he went to Super Bowl. He has several playoff wins. He has an AFC championship under his belt. So are you telling me just because one quarterback's taken 1,000 hits and this quarterback's only taken 500 hits, there's no allegiance? Maybe you're taking so many hits because you're not smart enough to be a quarterback. I'm not calling him dumb by any means. He's a very, very smart man. He should hire a agent, but we'll digress from that. When you are taking 1,000+ hits in a season, Josh Allen, or over a career, Dan Marino, Josh Allen, John Elway took a lot of hits. Alex Smith took a lot of hits, right? It is all about your mindset at the end of the day. You have to do better. You have to get up the ball out quicker. You have to read the defenses faster. Yes, your offensive line might suck. Russell Wilson's offensive line sucked last year. He took 203 hits or whatever hell it was. But at the end of the day, he can read defenses. He can get the ball out. He knows how to protect himself. So to say that Lamar Jackson has no allegiance to anybody, you are right. No player has allegiance to a team. No team has allegiance to a player. It is a business at the end of the day, right? And I'm not trying to fault him for trying to go get his bag, trying to get that guaranteed money. But he wants that guaranteed money because, one, he has yet to play a full NFL season. He has yet to win a Super Bowl. He has yet gone to the AFC Championship game. He has yet to win another playoff game. He has yet to be a 500 quarterback in January. So you can say what you want about Lamar Jackson. He is a complete trash as a quarterback. Let me say that for you one more time for the people in the back. Lamar Jackson is a trash quarterback. Do you guys understand that? If he wasn't picked by the Baltimore Ravens, he would not even be in the NFL right now. Let's say he went to, I see one probably 40. Let's say he went to the Detroit Lions. Do you think Matt Patricia would have been able to develop Lamar Jackson into any type of quarterback that he is right now? Absolutely not. The only reason why Lamar Jackson's in the NFL right now is because John Harbaugh is a hell of a coach. He has catered around his needs. He has said, oh, you can't throw the ball. Let's run the hell out of the ball. Let's have 5 running backs and maybe we can win 13 games. This is basically saying, hey, you know what? We know you can't do a whole lot, but let's win a lot of games while you cannot do a lot still, right? Maybe somewhere down the line, you'll learn how to be a decent quarterback. Maybe somewhere down the line, we'll get lucky and get a Jamar Chase. Maybe somewhere in the next 5 years, we'll be lucky to, get a stud-ass running back so it forces you to pass the damn ball. The fact of the matter is that Lamar Jackson is a trash quarterback, Drew. I don't care how many hits he has taken. I don't care how many yards he has rushed up on the ground. At the end of the day, it is all about winning in January, and Lamar Jackson doesn't do that. Lamar Jackson does not win in January. That is why he will never get that, quote, big bag. That is why he will never be a top elite tier quarterback. Yes, he won a MVP. When he won an MVP, it was by default because Patrick Mahomes got hurt that season. Even the 3 games that Patrick Mahomes missed, he still had more rushing yards. Not more rushing yards, but he's only had like 150 yards rushing. He doubled his passing yards, double touchdowns, double the wins. They ended up winning the Super Bowl that year too. How was Patrick Mahomes not? Because they didn't want a back-to-back MVP his third year in the league. That's what it was. It was a player-hater blocking move. They're like, hey, let's give Lamar Jackson some credit here. Maybe he'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of this. One probably 40 says he was an elite runner. He is a very elite runner. He is very, very damn good. I have a picture that my defensive coordinator just posted on Facebook of him and Lamar Jackson in spring game about like 6 years ago this time, right? It was the year that he won the Heisman. I watched film. You could tell he is just not a passer. Unfortunately, he is just not a passer at all. Javier jumped in the chat. What's up, Javier? Hope you're having a grand old night. This guy, I don't know how to take him sometimes. No. That is James. I don't know how to take him. What's up, Javier? But he says Andy Dalton never been to a Super Bowl at all since he played for the Bengals, and he never made it into other teams' NFL. So there's a difference between Andy Dalton and Lamar Jackson if we're trying to compare apple to oranges, right? Andy Dalton was with a team, with a head coach that was perfectly happy at being mediocre. They wanted to be just good enough to make the playoffs, but not to get fired. That is what Marvin Lewis and the Cincinnati Bengals were. Let me say that for you guys. The Cincinnati Bengals and Marvin Lewis were perfectly happy being an 8-8 team, just making the playoffs. They just wanted to get to the playoffs as a staff, as a team, so they would not get fired. The Cincinnati Bengals had years of mediocrity. Andy Dalton is a top 10 quarterback in the league when he was with the Cincinnati Bengals. They had Chad Johnson. They had who was that running back that had like a one-hit wonder, right? They had a really good team. They just had a coaching staff that was like, 8-8's good enough. I get to come back for another season. The owners are happy that we're average. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's do it all over again. That is why Andy Dalton never made a Super Bowl. Javier. One Pride Morty says Lamar would be crazy good at the 49ers. Why would he be crazy good at the 49ers? Let me seriously, what makes you think he would be really good at the 49ers? Because he can turn around and hand the ball off? That is not Lamar Jackson's game. that is not the San Francisco 49ers game. Yes, they do run the ball a lot with Christian McCaffrey and whoever else their running back is, that fullback, that big old Russian guy, Russian name or whatever he is. But the 49ers game is predicated on timely passing, right? Being able to nickel and dime down the field, hand the ball off, and hit the big play when needed. Give me one time in the last couple of years that Lamar Jackson has been able to put together a 15-16 play drive. He like kind of has the antsy itch, like, oh, it's been 9 plays. It's time to run around with my head cut off and run for 60 yards. Yes, it's cool. It's like it is cool, but that is not the 49ers' MO. Their MO is to nickel and dime you down on the field, wear you out, punish you on defense 3 and out, and get your defense right back on the field. Another 16, 17, 18 play drive. That's their MO. Here's a good question for the night. Excuse me. What team has had the best free agency so far? 1.40, we spoke about this a bit like this last night. But I think so far that the Carolina Panthers have had the best free agency thus far. They moved up to number 1 overall in the draft. Yes, they gave it, 5 picks, 2 first rounders, right? But then they signed a receiver in Adam Thielen to a 3-year, $33 million deal. Kind of almost a steal, to be honest. They picked up Andy Dalton. They picked up some offensive line help. They signed the linebacker from the Jaguars, Shaq Griffith. I think the Carolina Panthers have had the best NFL offseason thus far. And I think they are going to be the most improved, right? Yes, they were a 7 team last year, but that 7-10 is kind of fool's gold, I think, right? They happen to get a few extra wins when teams were kind of just like tanking, so it kind of fluffed their wins loss like a little bit. But I think they will be the most improved. They'll be the biggest surprise, and they have had the best free agency this season. I'm excited to see what they do for this draft. James says, if Lamar couldn't run like the wind, he would be a backup at the Canadian League right now. Actually, he wouldn't even be in the Canadian League. You want to know why, James? I played in the Canadian League. You know why the Canadian League is so hard? It's because the field is not the 53 1/3 yards. It's like 65 yards wide. You have to have a cannon of a freaking arm to throw the ball out there. To throw a 5-yard out route, you got to throw the ball 40 yards. Lamar Jackson can't do that. He would not survive in Canada. Now, maybe in the XFL, sure. Why not? Arena football, possibly. Even then on the arena ball, like, you have to be able to basically thread the needle. But Canadian, no, he would not survive in Canada at all. He would be a practice squad player at best. 1.40 says, it might sound biased, but I think it's the Lions have had the best offseason. So as far as off-season goes, free agency, yes, the Lions have nailed it as well. They picked up a lot of defensive players. I can't think of the other corner that they signed off the top. Was it corner or safety? But as far as teams that are all kind of like right there, neck and neck, the Carolina Panthers, the Detroit Lions, and then, as this hates me to say, is the Jets. The Jets have made some pretty good offseason moves as well. Signing Allen Lazard alone will boost that wide receiver locker room, and they cut Berrios, Mr. Drop himself. So that was very, very big move for them to get moving forward and hopefully progress in the right direction. even if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, they still have Zach Wilson on the roster, and they can draft a quarterback as well. Granted, the quarterback market and free agency starting to dry up a little bit, but you still got Teddy Bridgewater out there. You still have Jameis Winston that could be sign and trade. And if you want to make a ploy, 49ers have two starting quarterbacks on the roster right now, in Drew Lock and or not Drew Lock, but Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, that both could make some noise in the NFL in the Jets. So right now, I would say it's the Panthers, Lions, and then like the Jets as like a 2B type of thing. James says the Saints have a pretty good free agency. I don't know. Is Derek Carr going to be that game changer? I think Derek Carr is a very good quarterback. I think he's a top half-tier quarterback in the league. He just improves every year. He consistently improves in the face of adversity over and over and over again. But at the same time, you have a receiver, your number one receiver doesn't really want to be there in Michael Thomas. He hasn't played in a year and a half, right? Because of a ankle injury, aka I hate my coach and I've been beating up my teammates. Alvin Kamara might be in jail, so you may not have a number one receiver or a number one running back. I guess your second best receiver on the team right now is a backup quarterback, backup tight end, a kicker, a fullback, a linebacker, and a strong safety, as in Taysom Hill. Basically, how much stock do you put in Derek Carr? I think, James, that is how you think, like, how good the Saints offseason has been. Is Derek Carr going to catapult this team to a playoff? South is weak, but the Panthers are going to be much improved. Bucks are still the Bucks, right? They're still a playoff team. Falcons are kind of meh, right? It all kind of is what it is. One Pipe 40 says they didn't overpay for anyone. I'm assuming you're referring to the Saints. One Pride 40, or the Lions didn't overpay for anybody either. And then he says the Broncos didn't do too bad either. The Broncos had to nail free agency because they can't afford anybody, right? And their free agency isn't over quite yet. From the things that I've been reading, they want to trade Cortland Sutherland or Jerry Jeudy still. So at one point they were wide receiver now they're kind of wanting to clear house like a little bit. I don't know. Well, it just seems what it is. Alpha Rob, jumping back in the chat here. He says Lamar Jackson doesn't have timing on his throws. So are you telling me that he doesn't study with the wide receivers? He doesn't go to off-season workouts and try to get better? No, not Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And I don't know if his timing is just off or just the way he the way he throws like is kind of like a catapult. So I think if he could get up and throw the ball down a little bit, that would help with his accuracy and timing and like everything else. But it is what it is. How do I think the Bears did? I am kind of biased as well on the Bears. I'm not a Bears hater by any means. Like, I hope Brandon Combs' team has a successful season, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, I think they overpaid for Edmonds. I think they overpaid for that other linebacker as well. His name's slipping my mind. Combs said, we got two linebackers, $6 million cheaper than what's his face that they traded to the the Ravens. I think the Bears are doing well. They're doing strides in the right direction, but I think they're building around the wrong guy, as in Justin Fields. I think they're building around the wrong guy. James says, I think Carr can get them to the top of a very, very bad NFC South. So if Baker Mayfield wasn't with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then Adam Thielen didn't go to the Carolina Panthers, I would agree with you with you on this, James, 100%. I would solely agree with you on this because of the fact that who else is there, right? But now, Adam Thielen, Andy Dalton, and a number 1 overall pick at a quarterback, plus their addition to the defense, Carolina Panthers are a dangerous team. They're going to sneak up on some people and they're going to bite them in the ass. The Bucs are still pretty good. Baker Mayfield puts them in that number 1. Man, my ear itches. They put them in that number 1 NFC South position right now. They have one of the best offenses in the NFC. Mike Evans, Godwin. They just signed a running back. They let Leonard Fournette go, but they signed a running back. Can't think of the name right now. The Bucs are going to be back. They are going to be good. 1.40 says so the Lions signed Cam Sutton from the Steelers, Mosley from the 49ers, and David Montgomery. The only 1.40. The only signing that I scratched my head about for the Detroit Lions was a David Montgomery signing. Why didn't they offer Jamal Williams some more money? Or just even a contract period? He is the number 1 rusher last season, right? He broke the Detroit Lions all-time rushing record in there. He seemed to be a fan favorite. People loved him in the locker room. And you bring in David Montgomery to replace him? That's questionable. Why would you want to bring David Montgomery in when you had Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift? If anything, I would have let DeAndre Swift walk. When has that guy played a full season? Never. But yeah. Guys, we're going to switch gears here. This is just going to be a Q&A night all night long. Any questions you guys want? I got a case of beer. Wife and kids are somewhere in North Carolina. Let's party all night long. Drew says, what team do you think OBJ will be picked up by? Well, if you are reading into the headlines there, Drew, it's going to be the New York Jets. I was going to say the Dallas Cowboys, but then they just signed they traded for Brandon Cooks, right? So I think that wide receiver core is pretty much set. I would say Kansas City, the Jets, could be the Panthers, but I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to give you a wild card pick here. I'm going to give you a wild card pick. I think Odell Beckham Jr. signs with the Seattle Seahawks. Think about this. You have DK Metcalf. You have an aging Tyler Lockett, and then you put a Odell Beckham Jr. there with that Kenneth Walker III, plus a Geno Smith coming off a career year. That could be a very dangerous offense. Very dangerous. And then Javier comes in and says, maybe Lamar Jackson will sign with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers will sign with the Ravens. Wow. Where is Green Bay Greg when we need him? Jesus. I don't think the Packers want anything to do with Lamar Jackson. I think the Packers are okay with Jordan Love. And if they're not, they will probably draft a quarterback first overall or in the first round this year. Da-da-da-da. 1.40 says the Bears should have invested in some old line. Weren't you reading into those tweets and stuff saying that the Bears were not going to let Orlando Brown Jr. basically go to any other team? End up signing with what? The Bengals? Let's talk about Orlando Brown Jr. The true OBJ, as people like to say. So Orlando Brown Jr. turned down a contract for the Kansas City Chiefs. Was it It was basically going to pay him $23 million a season with the Kansas City Chiefs last season. He said, no, I'm worth more than that. The Chiefs said, no, you're not, but we're going to franchise tag you. And he had a pretty good season, right? He says, you know what? I'm still worth all that money. And she's like, we're not going to franchise tag you. We want to use it on somebody else. He ends up going to the Cincinnati Bengals, a rival team, right? Air quotes there, for $6 million less a season. So he turned down $23 million for the Kansas City Chiefs last season to go to the Cincinnati Bengals to make $6 million a season a less. What do you think Orlando Brown Jr. was thinking when he saw that deal? Was he thinking like the Bengals are going to be the next greatest things in sliced bread? I mean, yes, I know money isn't everything at the end of the day. But Orlando Brown Jr. seemed pretty happy in Kansas City, right? We saw him in that post-game interview. This is the best quarterback ever. I'm not going nowhere. A month later, you're signing with the team that you guys beat in the AFC Championship game for $6 million less a season. Something seems fishy. But to say that the Bears should have invested in O-line more, they did sign the Titans right tackle, and then they got 3 extra picks this year to draft O-line as well. So I think they will address the O-line needs through the draft. Alpha Rob says Bears paid too much for Edmonds. He's an average game. He's average, not a game changer, but they gave him grade changer money. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. 100% Alpha Rob. Then we got my man Jonathan popping in the chat. Jonathan, first time here, man. He says they are called the Buccaneers. The only Bucs are the NFL team. Or sorry, the NBA team. Well, Jonathan, sorry to burst your bubble, buddy, but everybody calls the Buccaneers the Bucs because of the simple fact that we cannot spell Buccaneers. Nobody in their right mind can spell Buccaneers correctly. It has like 2 C's and 2 A's. English language sucks, so it is the Bucs. I am Buck, and I'm going to call them Bucs, and the only Bucs team are the Bucs, and that is the NFL because the NBA sucks at the end of the day. No, but John, then you are right. They are the Buccaneers, even though you misspelled it as well. I see, but hey, it is what it is. That's why we call them the Bucs, the BUCS. Hell, even their hashtag is Go Bucs. GOBUCS. So it is what it is. Drew says, I think the Chiefs need to sign D-Hop or OBJ. So, Drew, let me ask you this question. I don't think you like OBJ. If I remember correctly, Drew, you are kind of an OBJ hater. Like you're like he's overrated. And I think so too. I think he is a little below average receiver. The only reason why Odell Beckham Jr. is Odell Beckham Jr. that we know right now is because of the catch. D-Hop would be a great asset in Kansas City. D-Hop would be a great asset anywhere. However, what I am hearing through the rumor mill, through the people out there in the grapevine, through my inside sources, it is pretty much a done deal that D-Hop is going to the New England Patriots. So I would love it to have him on the Chiefs as DeAndre Hopkins. I would love to have him have that big threat receiver down the field, body them. How amazing would it be to Patrick Mahomes finally get a receiver over 5'9"? Like, how awesome would that be? But yeah, from everything that I'm reading and hearing, and through the grapevine, through the insiders and all that other stuff, right? Sources per se, it is pretty much a done deal that DeAndre Hopkins is going to the Patriots. It's just a matter of writing on. It's just a matter of fine details, right? One Pride 40 says the Vikings GM is horrible. Isn't this a second-year GM with a second-year head coach, One Pride 40? I thought when they fired what's his face, they hired a new GM as well. I could be wrong, but I don't know enough about the Vikings to speak on their GM, unfortunately. And then he says, what do you think of the Vikings free agency? I think the Vikings messed up. I think the Vikings messed up big time. They had an opportunity to let basically Kirk Cousins walk, and they re-signed him to this restructuring deal, right? They let Adam Thielen walk. There are rumors that they want to trade Dalvin Cook. What? If the Vikings trade Dalvin Cook, let Adam Thielen walk, and then they their linebacker from the Packers wants out. They re-signed Harrison, right? The Vikings are like a team. They're like, we like everything that is happening right here. So we're just going to keep all these old players, keep it, and we're going to be happy going 10-7 and winning the NFC North. They are much like the Bengals were back in the early 2000s. They're just happy to be there. They had an opportunity to get a Jimmy G. They had an opportunity to get a Baker Mayfield or a play on Lamar Jackson, right? And they chose not to do any of that stuff. The Vikings might be having the worst free agency out there. Yes, they did get Kirk Cousins restructured after he said, no, I'm not going to restructure F you guys, right? But we'll see how it goes in the end. Javier says, I wish the QB for the Buccaneers, and I wish to be the QB for the Buccaneers, and I will take them back to the Super Bowl. You said it last time, party. Let's have some beer. Javier, aren't you a kicker? I thought you were a kicker. I don't know. But I think with the Baker Mayfield, the Bucs could make it to the Super Bowl. That could be interesting. I imagine a lot of old linemen would have a love-hate relationship with Mahomes because they never know where he's going to get, and it makes it harder for them to block. So, James, I tend to agree with you a little bit on this aspect, right? It is very hard to block for a guy if you don't know he's there, right? If the play is supposed to go right, then bada bing, bada boom, he's already on the left. You get a lot of holding calls, right? Yes, that will happen. But at the same time, it is awful fun to win a lot of games. It is a lot of fun to put hardware on your hand, right? If you had the opportunity to block for a quarterback in Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, basically both the same player at the end of the day, like the scrambling ability, extending the play, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You never know where they're going to be. I would much rather play with Patrick Mahomes. Now, with Joe Burrow, which is where he ultimately went, yes, there is going to be a lot more, able to get away with the holding. You know where Joe Burrow is going to be. You basically know what the play is going to be called, and if it's ran, it's ran. If it's not, it's not, right? I definitely see the point where you're going with, like, James, but at the end of the day, I would rather put hardware on my hand than worry about a couple holding calls. But gotta resign Hawk and Jefferson. 1.40. I don't think TJ Hawkinson was a game changer for the Minnesota Vikings. Actually, let's pull up the stats for TJ Hawkinson, because I think I remember reading somewhere where he was the worst stat-wise player on the Vikings last season. Last year total, he had 86 receptions, 914 yards. Let's see what he did with the Vikings. With the Vikings, he played 10 games. We had 60 receptions for 500 yards. Do you re-sign that? I don't think you re-sign that. I can't remember who the Vikings other tight end is. Speaking of which, guys, Japan just won the World Baseball Classic 3-2. If you guys are interested in that, so America is runner-up in the World Baseball Classic. Where's the Vikings? Wish I could think straight. So the Vikings tight end here are Hawkinson and then Josh Oliver. Let's look at Josh Oliver's stats from last season. 25 catches, 149 yards. Sheesh. That's just debunked everything that I said. Yeah, sign Hawkinson. They need a tight end. Hell, they could have got O.J. Howard. They could have got Darren Waller. I don't know. The Lions are the team to fear in the NFC. The Lions are the team to fear in the NFC North. You are correct. As far as the NFC, you still got the Cowboys. You still got the struggling Eagles. You got the 49ers. You will have the Seahawks. Who else in the North or the NFC you will have? You will have the Giants. You will have the Buccaneers. And then the Lions. And then Washington Commanders? Vikings? I don't know. Arthur Brown coming in here trying to debunk what I said. He says, Buck. Shake my head. Baker Mayfield is not that good a quarterback. What? What? Baker Mayfield led the Cleveland Browns to a playoff game, one Pride 40. Or sorry, Arthur Brown. He led them to the playoffs. The Cleveland Browns. The worst franchise in all of football. Even worse than the freaking Houston Texans. He has just got a bad rap. He blew out his shoulder versus the Chiefs, week 3 last season or 2 seasons ago. Struggled through that all season long. Still took the Browns to the playoffs, and the Browns like, you need to go. You just weren't very good. Well, no shit. I blew out my shoulder for you week 2 and played with the pain all year long. Baker Mayfield is going to be a man on the mission this year. You remember when people say that Aaron Rodgers, I love angry Aaron Rodgers. He plays so well. Well, guess what? I love a secure Baker Mayfield. I love a confident Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield knows he is going to be the starter in Tampa Bay. He knows his job is secure, and he knows that he has people around him that are going to let him play and be him. Bowles is a player's coach. Mike Evans wants the ball. Godwin wants the ball. Let Baker Mayfield throw the ball. The Bucs are going to go to the playoffs. Arthur, Baker's going to show you that he is a top 10 quarterback in this league this season. Top 10, baby. Tampa is good for 6 games. Hey, all you need in the South is 7 wins. Baker and Tampa Bay can be good for 6 games. All they need is a ball to bounce their way once or twice, bada bing, bada boom. They're an 8-win team, baby. That makes the playoffs in the NFC South, Arthur. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. That is all they need. One Pride 40 says, no, the Lions worked the Vikings in that trade, gave them a 2nd-round pick for nothing. I guess. Am I serious about signing Hawkinson? Yes, I'm serious about signing Hawkinson because the Vikings literally have nobody else. Their other tight end had 149 yards, 25 targets, 14 receptions, 2 touchdowns. And the only reason why he has over 100 yards because he had 2 receptions over 40 yards. I'm just putting that out there. Arthur Brown says, you think as bad as Carolina need a quarterback, they would have not let him go. So this is my theory about Carolina, Arthur. Carolina did need a quarterback. They had Sam Darnold, P.J. Walker, and Baker Mayfield all on the roster. Baker Mayfield and CMC and DJ Moore were kind of starting to develop this chemistry. They were starting to play good, and then Carolina ownership's like, oh shit, I want to draft a quarterback next year. We need to lose, and we need to lose now. Let's get Baker out of town. Tell him he's a cancer. Let's get CMC out of town. We don't want him. By the way, let's fire our coach too. That is the only reason why Baker Mayfield is not in Carolina right now, is because the ownership, the Sean guy that has the curly old mustache, right? The only reason why he is not in Carolina is because of the fact that they wanted to tank, and Baker Mayfield, CMC, and DJ Moore were like, no, we're going to win some games. We're going to the playoffs, baby. And turns out they were pretty close, and they would have if those three guys would have still been on the roster after week 5 or 6 or whatever it was. Yeah. Javier says Cooper Rush will replace Blaine G. Cooper Rush is the backup quarterback for Dak Prescott. So if you were referring to Dakota, I don't think Cooper Rush is not going to replace Dak Prescott this year. Cooper had a good 4-game stretch. The Cowboys even was playing lights out, but to say he's better than Dak, no. Arthur Brown says, I would rather have Lamar over Baker. Okay. Whoa. Let me, guys, in the chat here, give me a hashtag Lamar or a hashtag Baker. Which quarterback would you rather have? Would you rather have Lamar Jackson or Baker Mayfield? I want Baker. 100%. One Pride 40 says, I agree Hawk is not a game changer, but they gave up a 2nd and a 3rd round pick to get him. Honestly, I forgot we even had him. Yeah. Hawkinson was just, ever since he broke his neck versus the Kansas City Chiefs, which I was at that game, when he hurdled the guy and broke his neck, I was like, what? What is this guy doing? Like, he really hasn't been that guy since then. Like, he has never been that guy since going into the NFL. He was that guy for Iowa, right? He was that dude. But he's just an average tight end in the NFL. I'm not saying that's bad. That's better than me. That's better than you. That's better than the guy across the street. But you're right. He is not that guy. Drew says, hashtag Baker. Yes, sir. Me and Drew are on the same wavelength, baby. Baker Mayfield. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about the NFL power rankings. Packers have a bright future, but brighter future than the Lions. Whoa, what? Hang on. One Pride 40. So as you guys know, by the name, One Pride 40 is a Detroit Lions fan. Hashtag One Pride. He says the Green Bay Packers have a brighter future than the Detroit Lions. What? See, this is the problem with the NFL. You can have 15 first-round picks, right? You can have a, quote, 5-year window to win a Super Bowl. But guess what? The NFL changes from week to week to week, right? Let's look at the 2022 NFL season. Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua, they were what? 4-0, 5-0. Super Bowl bound, baby. Super Bowl. Lose the next week. Tua goes down. Lose. Now they're struggling to get to the playoffs. What? Their 4 or 5 year Super Bowl window just closed real freaking quick. Let's look at the Cincinnati Bengals. Their Super Bowl window last year started, right? People are like, oh, they got a good 4, 5, 6, 7 year window to win a lot of Super Bowls. Well, guess what? T. Higgins wants that bag. Boyd wants that bag. Jamar Chase is going to want that bag. Joe Burrow is going to want that bag. Orlando Brown Jr. got that bag. Joe Mixon wants that bag. Guys, the NFL changes literally from week to week to week. To say they have a bright future, they have a bright future. But we cannot predict from week to week to week. How are we going to predict 3, 4, 5 years down the road? It just doesn't happen. That is why the NFL is so intriguing. That's why they literally say any given Sunday. Look at the New York Giants, an 8-8 team in 2005, right? They had to beat the New England Patriots to make it to the playoffs. And they did, right? They snuck into the playoffs. They were a 6 seed. All the road games, go to the Super Bowl, bubblegum catch on the head, bada bing, bada boom. They beat the undefeated Patriots. This team shouldn't even been in the playoffs. So to say that they have a brighter future, sure, on paper, yes. On paper, everybody's future is bright. On paper, on testimonies, on graphs, everybody is going like this on a nice even plane. From 0 to 100, nice and level, no bumps along the way. But here's reality. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, they went to the AFC Championship game, or the AFC Championship game, Mahomes' second year. This team has a huge window. They're going to win a lot of Super Bowls. Well, guess what? They are winning a lot of games. They have 2 Super Bowl wins when they said, oh, we're going to win 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row. 1.40. I can't believe you said that as a Lions fan. Come on, man. Rep your team. The Packers are going to be not very good for a long time. I said it. James says, no, Lamar, stay away from Miami as far as he can get. Get out of here, Lamar. We don't want you in Miami. Arthur says, not in Miami, but general. Hashtag Lamar, hashtag Lamar, hashtag Lamar. What? You guys are telling me that you want Lamar Jackson over Baker Mayfield? Why? Why? Baker Mayfield has done a lot more with a lot less than Lamar Jackson. You can say, oh, Lamar Jackson never had a number 1 receiver, yada, yada, yada. Well, he's had a pretty damn good coach. Baker Mayfield's had like 6 head coaches in 3 years. I'm just saying. Pride, are you smoking something? That's what I'm thinking. Hashtag Baker. There we go. It was a mistype. Oh, so you're saying that the Lions have a brighter future than the Green Bay Packers? I just think you are reneging on it because I was like, wham, bam, thinking, man, I'm going to smack you down like a little redheaded stepchild that you are. Nah, either way, though, every team, quote, has a bright future. The only team that doesn't have a bright future, to be honest with you, right now on paper, are the Arizona Cardinals and the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Jets and the Atlanta Falcons. Those 4 teams' future just kind of looks like a it is what it is. Buck, it was a mistype. Well, that mistype 1.40 caused me to my blood pressure. My watch thinks I'm working out because my blood pressure's went up so high. Like what? Where I should have thrown on the cheese head. Where's the cheese head at? Speaking of which, guys, I saw the greatest meme. We're getting ready to wrap the show up here. I saw the greatest meme, air quote there, ever on the old Facebook.com/manhour today. It was the NFC East Trash Talk group, and some man posted in there, it was a picture of Jalen Hurts on the phone saying, yes, Mr. President, we're going to repeat. We're going to run it back. I was like, what are you going to run back? A Super Bowl loss? Okay. If you're going to make a meme and try to like boast your team, make it a good meme and make sure it is right. Arthur Brown says Lamar was Mahomes' nightmare every year, but KC wins because they get out coached. So that is a great point. Kansas City does have great coaching staff. And Lamar Jackson may have, quote, outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Was it year 3 they played head-to-head? Right? But how'd that season end up? Baltimore Ravens end up 13-3, and the Chiefs were 12-4, I think, that year. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Ravens were a first-round playoff exit. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. I don't care if somebody outplays somebody or not. It's all about winning at the end of the day. Winning cures all. Drew says, burn that cheese head. I'm going to wear that cheese head tomorrow, Drew. If I can find it. I don't know what Cindy did with it. Where's that cheese head? I say the Colts and Rams are about to nuke the monster. Actually, the Indianapolis Colts are making some moves. They signed Gardner Minshew, which I hate to say this, but Gardner Minshew was a pretty good signing. He is a good bridge quarterback for when they draft that rookie, giving him a year to sit and learn the offense. They drafted signed a receiver. His name's slipping my mind right now. Oh, fuck, what was his name? Should have looked that up. But they signed a receiver. JT's healthy. They signed some defensive players and an offensive lineman as well. The Colts might be that Super Bowl team that we finally talked about. I don't know. Javier, Lamar Jackson to the Buccaneers. No. I think the Bucs would flip a brick if they had a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. Not because he is not a good athlete. Think about all that talent and money they're going to waste on the outside. Mike Evans won't be able to stretch the field and get at the ball. Godwin might be able to run some slants and get some balls, but he's going to get killed. That would be a bad thing. Arthur Brown says the Ravens got rid of his receivers. Hollywood Brown was the last straw. So I heard a story about why Hollywood Brown was officially traded to the Arizona Cardinals. It is because they were trying to pay Lamar Jackson. They were trying to get a contract worked out, and they were trying to shave off this extra salary cap that was, quote, not needed. When a player warrants or wants that big bag, they have to cut pieces. When Patrick Mahomes got that $500 million deal, they had to cut some pieces. They couldn't afford to pay Tyreek Hill. They couldn't afford to pay Orlando Brown Jr. more. But good coaching, good players will help that succeed. The Kansas City Chiefs were picked to be last in the AFC West this year, guys. They were supposed to take the step back, and they were supposed to be an average offense at best. Patrick Mahomes' best years yet. He's a damn good quarterback, and they had a mismatched bunch of receivers. If Lamar Jackson was half the talent he was, he could have took Hollywood Brown. Who else did they have? They had Sammy Watkins. They had another receiver. I can't think of his name right now. Like, they had that tight end Hooper, right? They've had talent. He just can't perform. Last one before we go. 1.40 says the Rams should blow up their roster. They're trying to. They're trying to get rid of all that extra money. They're trying to get some draft picks back, but when you give, the Detroit Lions like 2 or 3 first-round picks to take our quarterback away to win one Super Bowl, it is what it is, right? Not a lot you can do. They can try all they want, but it is what it is at the end of the day, guys. But an Andy Reid coach team will never take a step back. An Andy Reid coach team will never take a step back. James, I would have to agree with you, because if they're going to take a step back, Andy Reid gets fired. That's what the Eagles did. They went to 5 straight NFC Championship games, and then you got fired. I don't know. It is what it is. But, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in again. I kind of like this just chill conversation type of talk. Good times. Today's Tuesday, right? Today's Tuesday. Coles will be back tomorrow, Wednesday. Eye Test is back. Bucks Rants is back. Live, Raw, Uncut Sports Talk, guys. Man Hour Nation, rise up. See you tomorrow.